Hey everyone, and welcome to Jen's on the Reel. I'm Jen.
And I'm Jen.
Hey, we're back.
We're back, guys, again. And honestly, today we're going to talk about gentle parenting, but we're not going to be very gentle about this topic.
Not at all. There's no gentle in this parenting talk.
No. And according to Lewis, we're gangsters. So we're going to be gangsters in this topic as parents, and because we went through it. But anyway, a lot of us are dealing with a lot of weird things. We grew up different ways, and now we're dealing with a very informative or informed group of individuals that are dictating what parenting should be like based on a lot of weird parameters that have absolutely no control. So, to give you context.
In better words, there's a bunch of know-it-alls.
Exactly. Exactly. That was my nice way to say that. So, first, we want to start with the different types. There's the know-it-all parent. Right? There's the gentle parent.
The gentle parenting. That's all about emotions.
Yep. And then, And that's really common right now. And then, of course, we'll discuss like the way we were brought up and whether or not, that was even functional. I don't know.
I think it was. We came out gangsters, so...
Exactly. So, Jen, you're a grandmother now.
Yes, I am.
And you are seeing a new generation of
parenting skills.
Yeah. And, I raised my kids very much not exactly how I was raised, but...
Right, not a blueprint.
Not a blueprint, no, but definitely there was a little bit more toughness, and therefore I see their reaction to the generation that's coming up next after them. And how, I guess, the generation post me, it has like really shielded these children.
No, and I'm going to tell you something. Even parenting my generation, because it's your generation too, but your kids are a little younger. But my generation that have kids are in their 20s, some in their 20s. There was we made mistakes along the way too.
Yeah, plenty. We made mistakes.
And we had guidance.
Yeah.
But, we were trying to be better parents than our parents.
I think there's something to be said about how we grew up in families that had a lot of children. And then we grew up in spaces where, although we were young, we were helping like raise these kids and stuff like that. So maybe we came from a different space where we actually treated the children.
I feel like we came from a space where we had to get survival skills.
There's that too.
Because I remember when I was young and I was little, we would go to my great aunt, mi tia Conchita's house, right? And me and my cousin. So she would take care of all of us. It was like 6 of us, all girls and 1 boy, which was my brother. And literally imagine you're taking care of like 6 kids from ages, I don't know, 4 to like whatever, 7, 10.
Yeah, maybe 12, yeah.
So imagine they were like, get out. They would literally, we actually were talking about this the other day, they literally would just throw us into the backyard, close the door, and just,
But they were tired of us. And then, I would say we also didn't have a lot of resources to put our energy into like the kids do right now.
No, and our parents were working all the time. Remember, like, at least in our generation, our parents came from struggle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like my grandmother, my mom came here from Cuba, like everybody was struggle. Everybody was trying to make ends meet. Like, it took a tribe.
Yeah.
It takes a tribe to raise a child.
Yeah.
But I feel like nowadays, the parents nowadays are like, no, we got this.
Yeah.
There is no tribe. It's only what I know, and you don't know anything.
Yeah, and I feel like the way that we were raised has
Plus
been put
Google.
so negative. Yeah, they have Google. The way that we were raised has been made so negative because I don't know, some child has now mental issues because they were really, really abused. But now anything that is remotely related to a concept of abuse is related to that.
Well, child abuse did exist back then. And child abuse will always exist.
I could have sworn I heard you say ChatGPT existed.
No, child abuse. So child abuse was, there's obviously people take it sometimes to a whole other level.
Yeah.
We're talking about children. Like, I don't believe, like, a 2-year-old, like, when you're going to reprimand a 2-year-old, you put him in timeout.
Yeah.
You don't necessarily, and when we mean, like, okay, you're going to hit them, they do this. Like, nobody's saying to take a bat and clock them.
Yeah. I used to get beat up with a
a belt maybe, but not at 2. Yeah. You know, that's more like a 7 to 10.
Yeah. Yeah. Lewis is
maybe
like,
15.
It kinda happened. Yeah. You know, so I do believe that there has to be some level of control. And I feel like people need to understand that
kids can't get away with everything.
No, they can't. And they don't know what they're doing. They're developing. You know, we can't just be wild. You know, you can't just have a child that's just wild and has all these entitlements and expectations.
No, and you have to be the parent.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Parents don't want to parent. Parents are like, oh my God, he's my best friend. He's not supposed to be your best friend.
No.
You're supposed to be the parent.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't have a relationship with your kids. You have a great relationship with your daughters.
I have a great relationship with my
daughters. You guys, but they know that you're mom.
Yeah.
And what mom says goes.
Well, I'm for the most part, I will say I've managed to keep like a loving relationship throughout the way, but I do flip out, and they know that. Like when I get really angry, a different person shows up, and it has to show up. I guess people have to realize that you do have those feelings. You have to show that something is wrong for the child to kind of like stop what's going on. You know,
especially when they're little. When they're little, like I tell people, like it's like, you know, training dogs. I know it's like, you know, I know it's a bad example, but you know, when you get a dog and they're little and they're puppies, you either teach them how to pee in the pee-pee pad or you teach them how to pee outside.
You have to show
them. Same thing. You have to show
consistency,
like, you're kind of training them, but I see the parents are letting the kids train them.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or, you know, like I remember like I didn't get asked so many questions. Like, I wasn't like, oh, do you want to go to so-and-so's house? Do you want to eat McDonald's? Like, there was no questions. Like, oh, what do you want for dinner? Like, that didn't exist in my house. Like, what was for dinner was for dinner. Like, I just came from a vacation with my family, and we were talking about this because I told my mom, hey, you remember that time that you sat me there for 3 days with the same freaking food? Because I didn't want to eat the food. And dinner time would come and I would sit on the table and she would serve me the same plate of food.
And children challenge you.
No, and let me tell you, I never ate it.
Yeah.
I was very stubborn. I got away, I didn't eat it, but I remember sitting in the table with the same plate of food.
And understanding that you had to
eat breakfast and lunch, but when dinner came, this bitch, same food. I was like, what? And then I'm very determined. So I was like, I'm not giving up. Because I was very stubborn and I didn't. I won, technically. But look, that stayed in my brain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then after that, it was like, you know, my mom would tell me, this is not a restaurant.
Yeah.
You eat what I serve. And if you don't like it.
I don't understand how the tables have turned. Like, how are we letting someone that has absolutely no idea about life and the future and control or anything tell us, the adult who has gone through their own personal struggles to get to where you're at, you know what I mean? Tell us what to do, what they should be eating. Like, how do you go to your child and
you need to buy them?
Do you want this? You know, and
okay, this is one. Okay, why would you ask a 3, 4, 5, 6-year-old what they want to wear? I personally, I dressed my son however I wanted, with the little polos and little shirts and little moccasins, and all, like how I wanted, all the way until he was maybe like 10. That then you had to kind of let them like get their personality out, whatever, and then they get to pick and choose, or maybe a little like 7, 8 that they get to pick and choose, more or less.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But you're buying the clothes.
Yeah.
Because imagine, I was raised that you can't leave the house like that.
Yeah.
With broken sneakers or like messy hair and messy, like, no.
People have to think about what this does to the child long term and outside of their home. Like in their home, they're controlling their parent, which means that when they leave the home, they're going to try to control other people. And if they don't get their way, they're going to fail, you know? And I feel like, you know, I have my daughter over there, you know, shaking her head or nodding her head because she deals with little kids that don't listen at all. They just want what they want.
Yeah, because the thing is, here's the thing that parents don't have to understand, that you're not training your kid for your house.
Yeah.
You're preparing him for the rest of the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you don't let them, if they don't listen to somebody else, then what happens when you're not around?
Yeah, exactly.
And they go to school. And then they're telling, and they're like, no.
Yeah.
You know, because, you know, they do whatever they want at their house.
I mean, we personally had a relationship, a situation where the person was very rude to their parents. The parent allowed them to do whatever it is that they wanted. So now we're dealing with somebody that's, arrogant and rude. And
what do you think that's going to happen when that person grows up and goes to school with the teacher?
They're going to struggle. I understand giving your child individuality.
No, and independence.
Definitely. And they should know who they are. And they shouldn't always follow every single person because then they're order takers, right? They have to learn some level of leadership. But
it's a process.
It's a process just like you going to work. You have to, when you start a new job, when you leave college, you got to start in a certain position and then you move on up. Without the experience, they're not going to put you in a managerial position, right? So the same thing applies when you're a child. You have to learn the skills to be an adult, everything that you need to do, because you also have to pass it on to somebody else whenever you have your own children.
Yeah, and there's two extremes. Like I can't stand when they do the what are you feeling right now?
Oh, yeah.
Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling mad? What makes you feel like that? Like, what the hell?
The feelings are becoming such a big deal. I'm going to personally say...
Like, newsflash, you're not going to be happy 100% of the time.
It is very annoying. What you should be doing is understand that they feel a certain type of way and try to interrupt that pattern so that they can feel a different way by bringing something else into the space. So if you focus on the negative, they're going to stay in that negative space. They're going to you're feeding attention to that space. You feed attention to somebody with depression, they're going to continue to be depressed. You feed something to somebody that's negative or that is, any category that you think of, you feed it, it's going to keep growing, right? So the same thing applies in this particular situation. Interruption is where it's supposed to be, but you interrupt it with something positive, not with, how are you feeling? Oh, you feel bad? I'm sorry, honey. This is very valid. And this and this. I understand the validity of it.
And it's okay. And it's good to talk to your kids.
Yeah.
You know
and you can say, I understand you feel this way, but this is how, we have to go about it in this fashion because of these reasons. But you can't just really succumb to that.
I know. Back in my day, it was super savage. Who asked you? Get in the car.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, Mom, I'm
because
feeling.
I said so.
I'm like, Mom, I'm feeling. Nobody cares. Get in the car. Mm-hmm. Get in the car. We're going to grandmother's house.
Yep.
I don't want to stay in my grandmother's house. Well, you're staying in your grandmother's house. You know, like, I don't want to be in after school. You have to be in after school. Like, kids nowadays, like, they rule everything. Yeah. Like, it's what they want.
And they shouldn't, because they become entitled and they don't learn respect. They have to learn that there are levels to this, and even when you grow up and you have your own independence, we have to keep a level of control on what we want and what we want. I can't just be like, I want to be president tomorrow. Nobody's going to give me that damn position. No, I know, but nobody's just going to give it to me. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, no. I know.
I want a freaking, prime steak tomorrow from Prime 112. You think they're just going to hand it to me? No.
I know. It's so funny because...
That'd be nice.
My son one time, he was like these kids, I can't. Like, he had just become, like, he just got into the hospitality industry and the bartending and whatever. And he was like, oh, I don't want to bartend there. I want to bartend over here, like somewhere else, like a nicer restaurant. And I'm like, but you've never bartended. Yeah. Like, you can't just.
They're not going to pick up a newbie at a nice restaurant.
Out of nowhere. Yeah. Like, I'm like, that doesn't work that way.
You look great. I love your enthusiasm.
You got to pay your dues. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and then I have another one and they're like, oh, I don't want that. I'm like, guy, beggars can't be choosers. No. Man. When you need a job, you need a job.
I use that a lot, by the way. Huh? Beggars can't be choosers is my favorite freaking phrase.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry. If I need a job and this is a job that comes along, I'm going to take that job.
Yeah. And then you switch it along the way, but build your experience. Who cares? You have to go through struggles to build something.
The thing is, people they don't want to start at the bottom. They want to be CEO before being a secretary or an admin or whatever. Uh-huh. You know what I mean? And it doesn't work that way. That's why when my son was like, oh, I'm going to bartend in this restaurant, I'm like, I didn't want to like be his dream shatter. I didn't say anything like that, but in my mind, I'm like,
okay, great. Yeah, well, how are you going to get there? You got to start here, right?
You got to start at the bottom, buddy, and you got to make connections. And I feel like younger people don't realize that.
The relationships, the connections are so important.
Well, you know that Dave Groupman, mm-hmm. He's like the big time, like Miami hospitality king. Yeah. He wrote a book. And it's about relationships. And the way he's gone to where he's gotten, and he believes that 100%, it's all about relationships. Yeah. And I believe that too. Yeah. And as, you got to get somewhere and it's who you know. Mm-hmm. And I feel like people aren't as social anymore.
Well, they're not social, so they don't know anybody.
And then they rely on their parents. Because that's another thing. As they get older, they're going to end up relying on their parents.
Because you're the only one that says yes to them.
No, and now you see the statistics, all these older kids that should be living alone are living with their parents well into their 30s.
Yep.
And who knows?
Yep. And expecting a handout at every given moment. Like, when do you consider independence? Is your independence that you just decided to do one thing, but then you don't cover the other things because, it's...
And now that you said that a little while ago about somebody talking back to their parents. I was in a store the other day, and I remember seeing this kid yell at his mother, and I was like, ooh, she's about to slap him, right?
With popcorn.
I was like, popcorn, yeah. I was like, she's about to slap him, right? And she didn't. Not only did she not slap him, but she was like, oh, I'm apologizing to him.
Oh, my God.
And I felt so like, I was like, am I being punked? Like, is there somebody going to come out with a camera just to see the expression on my face?
No.
And I'm thinking to myself, if that would have been me, again, there's no way.
No, I can't even say I was pretty
tough. My son
tough.
is 24 years old, and he doesn't really raise his voice at me. Like, he'll call me crazy sometimes, and then he sees what crazy looks like,
Yeah.
But so he's very when it comes to those things, And it's funny because Marcel's like, and his dad's like, my son's dad is like, oh, but you want him to fear you? I'm like,
yes,
it's respect.
Aren't you supposed to have fear of God? That's our first parent, right? You have to have fear of your parent as well.
Yeah, he talks to me about almost everything. You know what I mean?
Because he knows that you're going to be straight up. That's the other thing. You guys are creating this fake world in their mind, and you're making it seem like everything is all good
and perfect, and they're going to be happy all the time.
You are doing a disjustice to your kid. I swear, you are doing a disjustice to your kid, and you're going to pay the consequence for it.
And life is rough, man. Like, you go through a lot of shit.
You're going to get a mentally ill child that is dependent on you completely and who treats you like shit and who doesn't care about you. The moment that you get old, he's going to leave you stranded because they don't care. They don't want children either. So you don't even have a next generation coming up.
Oh my God,
that's
fucked.
That's my opinion.
Who's going to take care of me?
No, seriously, they don't care. They don't, I feel like nowadays, so, okay, we have a lot of different things happening. We have women in their 40s having children versus in their 20s. I think that when you're older, you've been through a lot. So you feel like you had to be soft and everything's got to be perfect and nice or whatever. So maybe with your kid, you don't have enough energy or anger in you anymore to really straighten things out. I don't know.
My sister's in 40 now, and she's having her second kid. And let me tell you, she's got some anger still in her.
Oh yeah, but well, she ain't letting it out on the child because that's like.
Well, she does sometimes. She has
in a different way. Got it.
You know what I mean? It happens. I mean, people lose their cool. That's normal. God knows I lose it all the time.
I mean, it's bound to happen. And so then you have that, but then now you also have children that don't want to have any kids at all and don't really care about you either. They only care about themselves.
Yeah, they're very selfish.
And it's because everything revolves around them. Everything revolves around them.
So Marcel has this saying, and it's funny, it's so true, because he's like, somebody one time told these kids that they were the most important thing
since sliced bread.
And that they had to be happy all the time.
Yeah.
And everything is about them. Somebody told, and imagine, he's a teacher. So he's like, I don't know who's telling them this, but it must be coming from home.
Yeah.
Or at least that's being projected.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I get it, maybe your childhood wasn't like all roses and tulips.
Yeah, and you want to make it better for
your child, because I feel that that's you always want to do better. Everybody always wants to do better, but sometimes we do so much more better that we fuck it up.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, because my generation, I'm telling you, we've made those mistakes
a lot
because we coddled them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, oh, you could ride your bike, but around the block, When I was growing up, we'd ride our bike, we'd leave, nobody knew where we were, we had no cell phones, we'd come back before the sun came down.
Yeah.
Maybe with a scraped knee.
The world was more dangerous back then? And
okay, so everybody's like, oh, but times were different. Yeah, but they were saying that back then too.
You just have it more visualized now. Like now you have more access.
Now we know more because everything is online and everything gets recorded.
And you'd think that you'd, you
feel
become a
safer.
different, but no.
Because they have a phone, you can track them. There's GPS.
Yeah, but no.
You know what I mean?
You
know exactly where your kid is.
Yep. Everyone's a target and everybody is bad.
So you would think, it'd be easier. You know where they are. You can track them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's this one little video meme that's been going on Instagram that's so funny. It's this lady on a cruise, right, with her son. He must be like 10. And she's putting those things that track you, one in his shoe, one in the thing.
Oh, the air tags.
Like putting all this thing. Mind you, they're on a cruise. And then all of a sudden the guy comes out, he goes, just put him in a cage. Don't let him out. You know what I mean? They're like putting on the shoe, in the belt, in the hat.
We thought about that actually.
But everywhere. If they find this one, they might not find this one.
No, I'm joking. We were.
They're gonna track you, girl.
No, no. David and I. No, I know, but David and I were joking around saying that we were gonna put an air tag on Ellie, so that in case she goes out or whatever, we know that nothing happens to her. But that's just us talking shit because we as parents, we just kind of want safety, and she's leaving us, so we get a little bit nervous. But we're not gonna do that. She has to learn independence. No, we're not.
Wink, wink.
No, we're not gonna do that. We used to joke around when they were little. We used to say that we had a little tracker on them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like under their skin. We'd say, well, you know where you are. You have a tracker. And they would believe it. You remember that?
But yeah, I don't know. There's gotta be, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I track
Lewis
mine
is tracking his kid.
We track ours too.
Yeah, I mean,
but we do it.
But
mostly,
they track us too.
Yes, they.
Oh, the girls do track me, especially because I forget to pick them up sometimes, and they're like, "You're still home."
Damn.
No.
Yeah, nobody tracks me.
I can't say that. I'm completely tracked. That's a mixed message. But yeah, anyway, I mean, if you guys, Jen, if you had to give them a new parent, an advice, what would you say?
Be the boss.
Be gangster.
I mean, you do have to teach your kids independence, but I feel like there's a time for everything. Enjoy them being babies. Enjoy them having to depend on you, because they're going to get to an age that they won't depend on you.
They won't.
Like, I remember they used to tell me, don't carry him so much. And I was like, I can't carry him now.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I remember I used to have mommy time when he would run into my room and we would cuddle in the mornings, you know what I mean, on the weekends. We don't do that no more. There's no more mommy time.
Yeah.
So you know what? I feel like you should enjoy every stage. Like, I used to enjoy feeding my son.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't have to eat. Like my nephew, he eats on his own, which is fine. It's great that he eats on his own. He's independent. But there's like a bonding time, you feeding your child when they're little. You know what I mean? It's like a quality time.
Like, enjoy every moment. It's such a small space.
And they grow fast, man. Yeah. So fast.
Yeah,
Look, yours is leaving to college. It's like, it's bad. They grow so fast. So, and you have a very small window that you're very close to them, because as they get older, they become more social. They have social lives.
And they have to. They
leave the nest.
Yeah, they have to. I just hope they don't forget about me along the way, and that they take care of me when I get older.
I'm sure they will. Look. The violin.
I don't need them to take care of me literally in that fashion, but like to look out for me. That's all. But like I look out for my mother.
Right.
Like that kind of stuff. And my advice to anybody out there is, with a small child, they need order, they need a schedule,
and they need routine.
They need things that they can accomplish so that they can have confidence through accomplishments. And they also need pattern interrupts when they enter a negative space, so that they learn how to shift personalities in an instant. When necessary, when they don't feel well.
Remember, you're preparing them for the big, ugly world out there.
Yeah.
And not everybody's going to be as nice to your kid as you are.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
And always show them kindness. Show them to be kind to the world.
Yes, we need more kindness and love in this world.
Big deal. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. We are very grateful to have you guys always listening. And if you haven't done so already, please comment, like, share, and we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, let's go.